Good evening, everyone. Good evening, guys. I hope all of you are doing well and taking care of yourself very well. During these summers, you need to take care extra, right? You need to keep yourself hydrated, fit and fine in order to study properly, in order to prepare properly for your upcoming exams and challenges. So guys, this is Komal Gyamlani Santani here. I welcome you all on one and only yours only channel, that is Ruvika Academy, where we are running a wonderful series of 1000 MCQs in which we are going to cover all the previous year questions along with that exam oriented questions, so that you can get an ace over these questions and you score very well in the exam. So guys, let's begin our today's session with some more interesting questions of your exams. But before I begin, let me tell you that we have started our wonderful batch, that is SAMRAT PGCET 2024, for the aspirants preparing MBA and MCA. Our batches have already started and we are providing you a number of features, like you get an opportunity to have live classes and interact with the faculty and clear your doubts immediately. In case you miss the class, you always have a backup of recorded classes, and along with that, along with providing you the conceptual clarity, we also provide you the class test, practice test and 50 plus mock test in which you will get a ranking facility all over Karnataka. And most important thing guys, the classes are scheduled after your college timings. So there is no overlapping in your college timings and class timings. You can easily attend our classes. And once you get yourself registered with us, you get an access to all the upcoming batches till September. And yes, 100% results are assured. So guys, let's begin our today's session with some very important questions of your exam. And before that, make sure that you subscribe our YouTube channel, join our WhatsApp group and Telegram channel, where you will get all the updates regarding the exams, notifications, everything. So let's begin our today's session guys. And yes, one more thing, the cost of this batch is very nominal. That is for MBA aspirants, it's only rupees 3000, and for MCA it's 3500. So at this minimum cost, you are getting a number of features. So don't waste your time. Quickly join our batch and start your preparations and experience these facilities. Okay, so let's start our session. So in the previous class, we did some exam oriented question. I hope the questions are pretty clear in your mind. The last question that I did was this. I hope the concept is very clear in your mind, that when I say that my age is 10 years more than yours age, that simply implies that the difference between my age and your age is 10 years. Similarly, if I say your age is 10 years less than mine age, so again it simply implies what? The difference between my age and your age is 10 years. Okay, so there are number of ways of explaining, stating one sentence. So you just need to pick the essence of the statement given in the question, and that's what I taught you in the previous class. I hope that you have caught that essence, you have absorbed that essence, and you have started applying it. Okay, so let's begin our sessions with first question of today's. Now, a very important pattern that you can definitely expect in your exam. A number of pattern of questions are asked related to this concept. Students total marks, passing marks, fail marks. Related to this criteria, a lot of patterns can be observed in the exam. So one or two patterns we will be discussing today. So make sure that you are attentive and you watch the entire session and you cover up all the questions very well, because you are going to find similar questions of this pattern in your exam. Okay, so let's begin. What is the question saying, guys? A student gets 40 marks and fails by 40 marks, whereas he needed 40% to get a pass. The total number of marks we need to find. See, in this pattern of question, they are going to play with the terms like find total marks or the maximum marks, find passing marks, or find the marks scored by him. In this way they can twist in different ways. So this is a question in which they are asking you to find the total number of marks. Even they can use the term find maximum number of marks. Even they can use the same thing. Okay, so they can use the term maximum marks for total number of marks. So you need not to worry. If you remember your school times or your college times as well, you will find the total marks written in the exam as mm. You will always find written like this on the right corner of your exam. Mm is equal to 100 marks or 100. So what is that mm? What is that mm? Millimeter? No, it's not. It's maximum marks. It's maximum marks. Okay, so you need to understand this way what are they asking. So total marks or maximum marks, one and the same thing. Okay, see, so what is the question saying? A student gets 40 marks and fails by 40 marks. Now read the sentence very carefully. What is it saying? He gets 40 marks and he fails by 40 marks. So now can you understand how much are the passing marks? He is scoring 40 marks, but he still failed by 40 marks. That means the passing mark in the exam is how much? 40 plus 40, that is 80. Okay, see, if I draw a number line, I will be explaining the further questions using number line. So this is a very appropriate way to solve these questions. Okay, see, if I make a number line like this is 0 and this is mm or the maximum marks. Okay, now he is getting 40 marks. Okay, and this is the point of passing marks. Okay, now he is getting 40 marks and he said that you are failed by 40 marks. That means if he would have gained 40 marks more, he would have been considered passed. Yes, I have passed the exam. Yes or no? He is right now getting 40 and it is said that he fails by 40 marks. That means if he would have scored 40 marks more, he would have passed the exam. So how much should be his score? How much should be his score? It should be 40 plus 40, that is 80. Right? 40 plus 40, 80. Okay. So passing marks should be how much? 80. Okay. Okay. So passing marks is how much? 80. Okay. Now further what they are saying, whereas he needed 40% to get a pass. Now listen, they have played with you. They are saying passing percentage is 40%. Passing percentage is 40%. How much is the total marks? With the first sentence, what you got? With the first sentence, you got passing marks. In the second sentence, you got passing percentage. In the second sentence, you got passing percentage. So what is the question trying to explain you? The passing percentage is 40% and this 40% is equal to what? 80 marks. Okay. So if I use it, if I explain you with the help of percentage, I feel it's a better, easier option. Like I'll tell you how. Suppose maximum marks is 100. Maximum marks is 100 and passing marks they are saying 40%. So how much would be the passing mark if maximum mark is 100? 40% of 100, that is 40. So if I assume maximum marks is 100 passing marks would be 40, right? But in reality, how much is the passing score? Passing mark 80. So how much will be the maximum mark? I'll just put x below 100. I'll just put x below 100. Okay, we have already done this method in the previous session. And I hope that you people are comfortable with this. Okay, so if I assume maximum marks as 100, passing marks would be 40, but in reality passing marks is 80. Okay, so what would be the real maximum marks? We need to find. So I just put x below 100, that I need to find. Then we'll just cross multiply it. Would be 40 into x equals to 100 into 80. So x is equal to 100 into 80 upon 40. Okay, so 40 ones are 40, 40 twos are 80. So this will be equal to what? 100. So maximum marks that the exam was of is 200. That is option A. You could have done it by another way that we used to do in childhood, that is by assuming total marks as x. Now 40% of x is equal to 80. This way you could have also done it. Same answer you will get. Okay, so if you say, I'll just explain that also, because somewhere in our mind that x method is very much embedded, right? So I'll just explain that method also. So whichever method you are comfortable, you can follow it. Okay, so let total marks or maximum marks be x. Okay, now passing marks we have already found. 40 plus 40 is equal to 80, and passing percentage is already given in the question, that is 40%. So I can say thus 40% of x is what? Maximum marks, is equal to what? 80. So 40 upon 100 into x is equal to 80. So x is equal to 80 into 100 upon 40. So 40 ones are 40, 40 twos are 80. 2 into 100, 200. Right? So I believe this is clear in your mind. How did I solve it? By the two methods. Okay. Now let's proceed to the next question. It says 25% of the pupils means the students, obviously. 25% of the pupils in a school were absent. Okay, the number of students present were 240. How many pupils are there altogether? So what are they asking? They are asking you to find the total number of students. Okay, here they are asking you to find total number of students, but we will dive into the question deeply. Whatever possible questions can be framed out from this situation, we'll understand that also, because I want you people to be very much comfortable with this percentage and the unitary method, because this is going to help you a lot in solving the question, and it will save your time, most importantly, because for your exam time is very important, right? So you need to be quick in calculations. So that's why I need you people to be very much comfortable with this method. Okay, so we'll dive deeply into the question, right? See, what are they saying? When 25% of the pupils in a school were absent. Okay, 25% of what? Pupils, that means the total students, right? So first method that I'll teach you is that which I want you to understand. Even if you don't understand that, I'll explain you the X method at last, but prefer following this method. Okay, so let's assume total students, let's assume total students to be 100. Okay, now 25% were absent. So what is 25% of 100? What is 25% of 100? Just for your sake I am writing it, it's very clear. 25% of 100 is 25 only. Okay, 25 upon 100 into 100. So number of students absent 25. Now tell me, if I assume that total students in the class are 100 and out of them 25 are absent, how much students are present? How many students are present? You remember our childhood, when I was a student, every day on the blackboard, when I was a student there used to be a blackboard. Now is the era of whiteboard or the smart board, but in my childhood I remember every day my teacher used to write on the right corner of the blackboard total students or the total strength, present and absent. So similar type of question you are finding here also. So total students if are 100, absent are 25. So how many are present? 100 minus 25, right? 100 minus 25, of course it's 75. Of course it's 75. Okay, now what are they saying? The number of students present were 240. Okay, now see, I assumed number of students as 100. When I assumed total students as 100, then absent students were 25 and present students were 75. But in reality, the number of students present were how much? 240. So I'll just write 240 below the assumed figure of present students, that is 75. So I'll write just below 75 the real number of students, that is 240. Okay, now what they have asked you to find? They have asked you to find how many pupils are there all together. So what we need to find? The real total strength. So I'll just put x below total students assumed figure, that is 100. So I'll write x just below 100. Then what we are going to do? We are cross multiplying. We are going to cross multiply the given figures with the one that we need to find. Okay, so this way, 75 into x equals to 240 into 100. Okay, so 75 into x is equal to 100 into 240. Okay, so x is equal to 100 into 240 upon 75. See, if you know the table of 25, you will quickly cancel it by the table of 25, as 25 3s are 75 and 25 4s are 100. But if you don't know the table, learn it. Okay, if you don't know the table, you have the substitute of 5, alright. But if you know the table of 25, you will be able to do it quickly. Okay, so cancelling it by the table of 5 for your sake. Okay, so 5 1s are 5, 2 carry, 15s are, then 20, then again cancelling it by the table of 5, 5 3s are 15 and 5 4s are 20. Okay, now you are left with 4 into, I hope it's visible, 4 into 240 upon 3. Okay, now cancelling 240 and 3 by the table of 3. So 3 1s are 3, 3 8s are 24 and 0, right? So 80 into 4, that is 320. 80 into 4, that is 320. So I believe this is clear. I believe this is clear. Now as I said, we will dive deeply into this question. What if they would have asked you to find number of students absent? Right now they have asked you to find total students. So we just put x just below 100 and we solved it, right? But if they would have asked you to find the number of students absent directly, okay, then what you would have done? Then what you would have done? I'll tell you. Just wait. See, as we did in the previous scenario, total students, we assumed what? 100. Absent were how many? 25. And present were how many? 75. Okay. Now if they would have asked you to find directly the absent number of students, see, if they have asked you the both, you found the total number of students, just deduct present students from it, you will be able to find absent students. But if what they would have asked you to find directly the absent students, then what we will do, the assumption goes the similar way as we did in the previous scenario. Now number of students present in reality were how much? 240. How many? That were 240. What are we required to find? Number of students absent. So we'll write X just below assumed figure of absent student, that is 25. Okay, X. Okay, then again cross multiply by the given into what we need to find. Okay, so that is 75 into X equals to 25 into 240. Okay, so X is equal to 25 into 240 upon 75. So again, for you people, cancelling it by the table of 5. So 5 5s are 25, 5 1s are 5, 5 5s are 25, right? I believe it's clear in your mind. Now 5 1s are 5 and then 3s are 15. Now again cancelling 240 and 3 by the table of 3. 3 1s are 3 and 80. So that is 80. So number of students absent, if they would have asked you to find directly, you would have done this way. If they have asked you to find together, would have asked you to find total students as well as the absent, then you could find total students and deduct number of students present from that and you will get absent students. Okay, so I believe it's pretty clear in your mind. Okay, now that X wala method, do you actually require that after this much explanation? Okay, just for you, even if some students are facing trouble in that, just for you, what I'll do, let total students be X, right? The X1 method that we used to do in childhood. Okay, percentage of students absent is equal to 25%, right? Now percentage of students present will be how much? 100 minus 25, that is 75%. Okay, number of students present is equal to how much? 240, right? So if 25% are absent, definitely it implies that 75% are present. Now, but in reality, number of students present are 240. So this gives you an equation. X, that is total number of students. 75% of total number of students is equal to what? 240. Is equal to what? 240. Are you getting that? 75% of total students is equal to what? 240. So X is equal to 240 into 100 upon 75, right? So again you can do the cancellation process and you will get the answer as 320. This calculation we have already done in the previous slide. This one, 320. Okay, so I believe this X wala method is also clear in your mind, right? Let's proceed to the next question, guys. Now this is again a very important pattern that I was discussing with you, that you may find the questions like this in your exam. What is it saying? A candidate who gets 20% of the marks fails by 30 marks. Now in the previous question they have given the score he is getting plus the score less than the passing marks, but here they have given you the percentage score he is getting. So this is the twist that they played. Okay, so he is getting 20% of the marks and he fails by 30 marks. So let me just make the number line. That's always preferable in this type of question. So this is 0 and this is maximum marks that I don't know. Okay, and this is somewhere the passing point. Now what is happening? He is getting 20%, right? 20%. This is not the real score. This is the percentage which he is getting, and he is failing by 30 marks. That means the score which he is getting and the passing marks vary by how much? 30 marks. So I can say this area is equal to what? 30. This area is equal to what? 30. Okay. Now, but another who gets 32% marks. There is another student who is getting 32%. He gets 42 marks more than the passing marks. Now there is another student who is getting 32% and his score is 42 marks more than passing marks. Okay, so he is scoring more than passing marks, so his score will be somewhere lying here. So his score is 32%. Now the difference between his score and the passing marks is how much? 42. The difference between the passing marks, and his score is how much? 42%. Okay. Now the question is very easy. See, what is this total area actually representing? If I sum up this total area, this is representing how much marks? 30 plus 42, 72, right? This is representing how much marks? 72. 30 plus 42, that is 72. But if I talk in percentage term, how much this area is representing? In percentage term? Observe very carefully. In terms of marks, this area is representing how much marks? 30 plus 42, that is 72. But in terms of percentage, how much is this area representing? See, till this point it was 20%, and from this point to this point it became 32%. So what is this area actually representing? 32 minus 20, that is 12. 32 minus 20, that is 12. So this area in percentage term is representing 12%. How did I get 12%? See, understand like this. Till this it is 32% and this is 20%. So how much will be this area? It's very simple. 32 minus 20. 32 minus 20. So that is 12. Okay. So this shaded region in terms of marks represents 72 marks, and in terms of percentage it represents what? 12%. This should be clear in your mind. If you are clear with this much thing, this question is a question of 10 to 20 seconds for you, if you are clear with this much of concept. Okay, so now let's recall the entire scenario and let's quickly solve it. What they have asked you to find? The passing marks, right? They have asked you to find the maximum marks, right? So let's assume maximum marks to be as 100. If maximum marks are 100, then this shaded area is how much? 12% of the total marks, right? So this shaded area is 12% of 100 would be equal to how much? 12. So for you only I have written it. So when total marks is 100, this shaded area would be 12. But in reality, this shaded area represents how much? 30 plus 42, 72. But in reality, the shaded area represents how many marks? 72. So real maximum marks would be how much? So we'll just write x below 100. We'll write x below 100, right? And then cross multiply it. 12 into x equals to 100 into 72, right? 12 into x equals to 100 into 72. So x is equal to what? 100 into 72 upon 12. So if you know the table of 12, 12 ones are 12, 12 6 are 72. So 6 into 100, that is 600 marks. That is option C. So I believe this is clear in your mind. What I have done, I just asked you to find the expression of the shaded area. So shaded area in terms of percentage is equal to 12%. In terms of marks is equal to 72 marks. So if total marks are 100, shaded area is 12. But in reality the shaded area is 72. So what will be the real maximum marks? Put x just below 100, cross multiply it, and you will get the value of x as 600. This is the easiest way to solve this type of questions. Okay, so let's proceed further, guys. Let's proceed further. Next question, a very easy question. It says, in an examination, 35% of the total students failed in Hindi. This type of question is preferable to solve using Venn diagram. Okay. Suppose this rectangle represents what? Total number of students. Okay. Now what are they saying? 35% of total students failed in Hindi. So I'll just draw a circle representing what? Hindi. Number of students failed in Hindi. So how many students failed in Hindi? How many students failed in Hindi? 35%. Okay, 35%. So we can, if the entire information is given in the percentage and they are asking you to find in percentage, so we can assume that total number of students is 100. Okay, so how many students failed in Hindi? 35%. That means 35 upon 100 into 100, that is 35. So 35 students failed in Hindi. Okay, 45% failed in English and 20% in both. Since they have given you the both wala figure, we need to draw the circles of Hindi and English such that they have some common area. Okay, intersecting some common area. So I'll draw like this. This is Hindi students and this is English students. Okay, number of students failed in English, that is 45. So this entire circle represents, one circle represents 35 and this entire second circle represents 45. Now the common area in between, this can you see? They have some common area in between. They have some common area in between this thing. This is common area, right? What is this common area? What is this common area saying? The students who failed in both the subjects. So how many students failed in both the subjects? 20. How many students failed in both the subjects? 20. See, now take one circle at a time. 35 students failed in Hindi. Out of these 35 students, 20 students also failed in English. So how many students failed only in Hindi? Understand very carefully. 35 students failed in Hindi. Out of these 35 students, failed in 20 students failed in English as well. So how many students failed only in Hindi? Very easy, 35 minus 20, that is 15. So this purple area, remaining purple area other than the common area is representing how much? 15. Okay, I hope you got my sentence. Total students who failed in Hindi are 35. Out of these 35 students, 20 students failed in English also. So how many students failed only in Hindi? 35 minus 20, that is 15. Now come to English. 45 students overall failed in English. Now out of these 45 students, these 20 students, they failed in Hindi also. So how many students failed in English only? Very easy. 45 minus 20, that is 25. This blue region is representing how much? 25. Okay. So basically we are done with how many students? 15 students who failed only in Hindi, 25 students who failed only in English, 20 students who failed in both the subjects, Hindi and English. Now what have they asked? Percentage of total number of students passed in both the subjects. So these are the students that we have shaded with different colors. These are the students who failed in one or two subjects, either in one subject or in two subjects. The remaining area of the triangle, is representing what? This remaining area is representing what? The number of students who got pass in the exam. So total students failed. Is how much? 15 plus 20 plus 25, right? 15 plus 20 plus 25. How much, guys? 25 plus 14. 25 plus 15, 40. 40 plus 20, 60. So 60 students failed. So students passed. So 100 was the total students, since it was given in percentage, so we assume total students to be 100. Out of these 60 students failed, so how many students passed? 100 minus 60 equals to 40. 100 minus 60 equals to 40. Okay, so I believe this question is pretty clear with the help of this Venn diagram. So that's all for today, guys. I'll bring some more interesting question, exam oriented question in tomorrow's session, in the next session, maybe tomorrow or on Monday. So stay tuned on our channel. Be very aware with the notifications that we provide you in our WhatsApp group and the Telegram group. Make sure that you quickly register yourself with us, so that you can start your preparation with us. Okay, so thank you so much, guys. Take care of yourself. Bye bye. Have a good day.